call the meeting to order.
Right there.
Special meeting of the Bethel Public Site and Building Commission to order at 7:02.
Come on.
I actually have nothing with me, so I'm relying on going back and forth between documents. But we kept the agenda short, as we have very specific things that we need to look at and deal with tonight. So I did not do public input. So, and the correspondence, I don't have anything. Kathy, I'm sure you don't either. The only thing we have are the reports that Geraldine sent out, and everybody got those early enough, I think, to review them. So we'll just jump right into old business, and the construction progress update was the first thing that we had listed in the bullets, and I don't think we need to do it in a different order. I don't believe we need to do it in a different order. Ken is going to give us an update.
Do you want to still refer to, do you want me to put his report up on the screen? Or would you...
I think we can. Yeah, that would be good, just in case we need to refer back to it, if that's okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
Look at all those hundreds.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of hundreds this week.
That's good.
Okay, so jump in there, Ken.
Okay, so starting out with the 5th grade edition, the site work, sidewalk, parking lot finished up. This was projected through today, so they did do the top course of paving. So that was completed. We still, when we go to the gym, we still have some painting. They did install the backboards. The outdoor amphitheater concrete was completed. And I'll just, so I don't go through everything, I'll just go down to the bottom. I guess the fencing at the detention pond is almost complete. To fence in the area too for the, and the Ansel system was completed today, so that both schools passed. And I guess we can go to the next page unless there's any questions.
So are there any things we should worry about for next Tuesday as you go down the list?
Next Tuesday?
For next Tuesday.
Start of school, Ken, the start of school.
The kids arriving.
Yeah, no, I know it's the 8th of September. I just, we're going to be worrying a lot sooner than Tuesday if we have things that we have to worry about. I guess to answer the question, don't have anything on the first page that, I mean, if you're talking in general, I think we're in good shape at Johnson. Right now, I think we got the letter sign-offs that Rick was looking for today. So we do have that, verifying the VAVs and the dampers and the FCUs for Johnson. And then we do still have some walkthroughs with the building officials at Johnson. There's a few open above ceiling items that are being completed. And we are still doing work inside the building, but it's nothing that, you know, is related to, you know, not being able to open school. A lot of flooring, base, and things like that going on.
Ken, in the on the second page of the report there, you have kitchen equipment startups at 25%. Is that higher than that now?
No, a lot of the startups the demo had to wait until the Ansel test passed. So we're now getting the schedules together from both of the contractors that we used for the kitchens. So 25% was basically for the walk-ins and the hood startup. But there aren't a lot of startups in this kitchen, either kitchen. So we're hoping that we can get them for Friday.
But is it something that is contingent upon getting a TCO or getting kids in school on next Tuesday?
No, it wouldn't be.
Jim, I saw Laura in the parking lot, and you met with her today, correct?
Yes.
And I got the impression from Laura that things were on track, correct?
Yes. So what's happening is we passed all the Ansel stuff and ventilation today. There is a delivery coming that needs to be stored in the dry store goods and also in the walk-in coolers. We're good to go with those two deliveries. So right now at I believe it's Rockwell, we have scheduled for Friday the startups and by startups, I mean demonstration to the staff, not startup of the equipment. That's already happened. It's just that Johnson, where we're trying to pull him in, he's looking to do it next week. We obviously want him to do it this Friday. So when we have that nailed down, I'll let Terry know that, and hopefully we'll have that ironed out tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Jim and I talked, and I told him Friday is critical to let the staff see the demonstrations because they're going to be cooking in that kitchen right away. So.
And then, Ken, the bollards, were those the ones that we talked about having to have in front of that gas?
They're not the same ones, but that they'd be probably the same type that you'd want in front of the gas meter.
Right, but the ones that you have here is 10%. Are they somewhere where they need to be so that we're not having either delivery trucks smashing into things or like what are those about?
They're going to start installing them in the front, but they're not. It's not something that's going to be required for the TCO.
But Ken,
okay.
Can I ask Ken? But Ken, aren't they holes in the ground?
Yes, the
yes.
ones in front of Rockwell have to be in for school.
Right.
We have to get those.
Right. We started them at Rockwell today.
And then what about at Johnson? I thought there were some there too. No? Well, holes in the ground? Okay. So you're going to do them there too, or otherwise there has to be some other solution because you can't leave the holes. Or am I wrong? Am I confused?
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
Well, just that I thought there were the same holes at Rockwell. I mean Johnson. In the concrete pad. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. You know where the
They do have some bollards too.
Yeah, there's bollards at both schools.
Right. So I guess are you doing the same thing at Johnson? Because I think Nancy, that's your feedback.
Sorry?
I think it's your feedback. Because when you No?
About what?
No, I'm saying that I think your computer's giving feedback, which makes it hard to hear. I just wondered if you could mute. But I guess I'm asking the question, the holes in the grounds that are like at Rockwell in the concrete in the front of the schools, aren't they the same at Johnson? Aren't there holes?
There are some the same, yes.
Okay, so the bollards will go in before school starts, or you will just cover the holes?
They're going to try to get them in.
Okay.
Hey, Ken, this is Bob. In reference to the loading dock there, I'm concerned that the back end of the delivery truck's going to sink in that mud because there's nothing in front of the loading dock. Could some crushed stone be put there? Because I guess we don't have a decision on what we're going to do there, concrete or pavement.
Yeah, we'll dress that up, Bob. We'll get those blocks in front of that too.
Yeah, because these delivery trucks are pretty heavy when they come in.
And Jim and Ken, the grinding of the terrazzo. So I want to know that they're gonna put some plastic in front and behind that, because that really, I know it's a beautiful product, but we can't let it make dust throughout every place in the project and then try to clean all that up.
Sure, we have been encapsulating him.
Okay.
But it's something that's ongoing. We'll have to watch and make sure we cleaned up in the morning before anybody gets in there. And yes.
Okay, good.
And is the grinding of the terrazzo because it's up too high? Is that what we saw in some of the reports?
No, that's the part of the process of finishing the terrazzo. That's how you finish, you grind it and then polish it, and that's eventually you end up with that finished product.
So then what about those thresholds that are too high? How is that being dealt with?
So we'll have them in there tomorrow night to take the thresholds out. The problem at Johnson is that in the bathrooms themselves, from one side of the building to the other, your floors were out almost 3 inches. So trying to pick a happy medium, you end up with quite a threshold in the corridor. So he's going to try to take that down at the threshold itself. So we'll have a better idea what we're dealing with there tomorrow night.
Jim, are you guys also the ones putting the phones in the classrooms?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Phones.
The phones in the classrooms. So I know they made progress in the 5th grade wing, and they had to have, Geraldine help me, they had to have plates? Or is that Connecticut Communication, Geraldine?
Connecticut Communications installs the phone, but the plates have to be in place, and those are from Ferguson.
So that's Rizzo.
Correct.
So when are we going to get the plates on the 3rd and 4th grade floor? And I believe the whole first, I don't even know if there's any phones at Rockwell.
I thought they were installed.
I walked it yesterday for Geraldine. I had one classroom where there was missing the junction box.
Okay, so they're there.
And I wasn't aware of any phone issues.
Yeah, I don't have an update that said that they were not able to install today. So I assume that they proceeded.
And Connecticut, to be fair, when I left, Connecticut Communication was there.
Yeah.
I personally tested the ones in the 5th grade wing. They work.
Yeah.
So I just was curious if they were moving along.
I'll check on it. I didn't get a report from Connecticut Communications end of day, but I presume that they were working through, but I'll check on that first thing.
And we could check with them in the field as to how to make it happen.
Okay. The only other thing I'm concerned about it with Johnson is, but I don't know this is construction, and if it's not, I can wait, is the technology piece, and Geraldine knows this. The E+, they're there working, and Dave is parked himself in front of the MER room until they finish. And he says now that they're going to finish tonight getting the network up. Which is good, right, Geraldine?
Yes, because there's a lot of stuff that needs the network at Johnson.
Right. So he literally is sitting on the desk, not letting them leave until they finish that piece. So once that's up, that will, I guess, pave the way. I'm saying it like I know what I'm talking about, but pave the way for ECS, correct? And the other subs to come in and finish the other things that need to happen in the classrooms?
So as far as technology, yes, ECS continues to mount the monitors, and the monitors are programmed. So as soon as there is a network that's live, they should come up. You know,
right.
there isn't like another step. Then they would go through and test to make sure that you've got the right communications. But yeah, so it's two things. They're continuing to mount the monitors, and they'll move through that. Again, it looks like they're about half done only. So they've probably got all day tomorrow.
Right.
And then yes, as soon as the network is live, they can move towards the testing issue live. I mean, they test each one, but you know, until they're all connected, that, you know, we need the network. So.
And Dave thinks it's going to be up tonight.
Okay.
And ECS was there at the end of the day on the 4th grade floor, starting to do some stuff. I just didn't see, and Jim and Ken, I just didn't see a huge present from them today. Unless I missed them.
From ESC.
ESC. I'm sorry, I always say it wrong. ESC.
Yeah, well, they're our vendor. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, there's.
I meant, did they visually see them?
Yeah, okay.
They're it's a little tricky with them because they work for about 15 different subs out there. So
Right, they're doing a lot of things on the school, not just.
they're working for Ferguson and Action Air as well. So I can find out who we're talking about, and we can, keep an eye on them and take a look and see.
Well,
where they're at.
Dave said that they were starting to go down the 4th grade wing and move backwards. And then the 3rd grade didn't have any monitors hung up, at least at the end of today. And I still think at Rockwell, they're pretty much not completed. So that's obviously something that we have to really push.
Bantam is the one installing the monitors?
Yeah, I know. I talked to Tom today.
Okay.
And we had a lovely conversation. So,
and about that conversation, so they are responsible. So ESC is responsible to mount the boards that were not new. So whatever he told you about, they're not responsible for the owner's monitors. Not true.
That was a bunch of bull.
Yeah,
okay. That's good to know.
To mount the old boards that were retained and the new boards that they brought in. And Chris Jacques said that they are going to do that. So.
All right, yeah, and D'Agostino reached out to me to talk about at the mounting height for those, Dr. Carver.
Yeah.
So most of those are in con pieces, so we're going to mount them flush to the bottom of the tack board and marker board.
Well, and what I said to him, Jim, and I said this to Nick because I talked to Nick today. And by the way, Nick and Mark are both going to be on site on Thursday.
Okay.
So they want to be able to like test systems and look at things. I just found that out this afternoon. When I talked to him this today, he clarified that, but I did say that I want the priority. If they can't get to all the rooms, the priority has to be their classrooms.
Classrooms, yeah.
Yeah. So like if they can't get to a special ed room or a PLC room, it's not the end of the world. I want the classrooms done.
Okay.
And I told Tom that too. Okay. Tom Stanton.
And I told Chris Jacques, who's the project manager for that whole thing, the classrooms first. So hopefully that's how they're moving through.
And Nick did tell me that, Geraldine, that there's HDMI cables for them too. So even in worst case, even if they got it mounted, even if there was still some work in terms of programming, they could plug into the biggest thing is the display initially. Like the interactivity of the board is important, but we want to make sure that kids at home that are going in on Zoom could do that. So Nick, we were talking about a little bit about that too. So getting the monitors up is really critical.
Okay.
But I was very happy to hear from Dave that E+ said that they might be done tonight. And he's guarding them.
Okay, so can we finish up with Ken's progress report on Johnson? Does anybody have specific questions for Ken on Johnson before he gets to Rockwell?
I have a question on the bathrooms as far as the exhaust fans.
Okay.
Because I had seen a note from Chris Baldwin, or I don't know, I had some stuff from a previous report. I was just wondering, is all of that up and running now?
I think we're in good shape with all that. Bathrooms and DOAS units for all the areas that are being turned over. Rick could probably speak to that better than me at this point. I'm not aware of any issues that we have with exhaust fans.
Yeah.
I could jump in if you'd like, Jim, before
Sure.
Ken does his Rockwell, and just kind of give a brief update on ventilation on the Johnson School, if everyone would like.
Yes. Yeah.
On Johnson School, the dedicated outdoor air units that are providing fresh air to the school in general, the original project sequencing had those units working on demand control ventilation based on CO2. And that sequencing based on the last call that we had was modified so that those units are always running 100%. The outdoor air damper is opened 90%, 100% based on the total connected load of the VAV boxes. And we're providing 100% ventilation air to the classrooms based on max design parameters. So everything is running at 100%. We are bringing in the max amount of outside air. We're exhausting from the DOAS units at the classrooms and the adjacent spaces, also based on max design. So we are getting in those spaces optimal air changes. So we are, from a ventilation standpoint, in good condition. And again, these units will just continuously run. The purpose of this was ventilation only. So these units are running and they're just constantly circulating the air in the classrooms and associated spaces. Fan coil units. The fan coil units were all locked in high position unless the max balance condition was medium speed. Then it was put at medium speed. But everything for the fan coil units is running on high speed to circulate the air within the space. Again, we know there's no chilled water at this time, but the fan coil units are running basically 24/7, or they may shut off into unoccupied maybe on the weekends, because again, those are just circulating the air. It's circulating the air, but during the time the building is occupied, those fan coil units will remain operational. From a bathroom exhaust fan standpoint, I understand the exhaust fans in the bathrooms are just providing 100% exhaust. It's my understanding there are no outstanding issues with the bathroom exhaust. The bathroom exhaust final report I just received a couple hours ago. Again, it's my understanding there's no conflicts, but I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. It's also my understanding from a kitchen standpoint that was resolved, but again, I haven't looked at that particular item yet. Regarding spot checking of the units, when these were put in max position at Johnson School, we worked last week with the balancer. We worked with the controls contractor really to ensure we are getting balanced conditions. So there were select areas down towards the end of the duct line and also towards the beginning of the duct line where we're closest to the DOAS unit and farthest away, really to make sure we don't have too much air close and not enough all the way down the line. So we did confirm all that. We confirmed the balanced all the balanced conditions, and we worked with ESC to ensure that those parameters are in hand and that they are locked. To ensure that they're in hand and that they're locked, we issued a 4-page memo. And in the 4-page memo, we asked for Actionair and ESC to provide final documentation that someone physically went through and ensured that all these dampers are in the locked position, everything is open, everything is continuously recirculating air. We did receive that from Actionair, which clearly depicts all of our requirements based on that letter that states these units are continuously on and continuously circulating, and all the dampers were verified to be open. Tomorrow, I understand ESC, the controls contractor, will be providing the documentation we asked for, which indicates their screen, basically a snapshot of their screen showing the supply fan, the exhaust fan, really showing those parameters of how they're locked in hand. So we are receiving the documentation needed for that school. From a ventilation only standpoint, we do appear to be in good shape. Like I said, it's just the exhaust fan and kitchen that we have not looked at this time with that school from a ventilation only standpoint.
They sent screenshots this afternoon, Rick.
I'm sorry, what was that?
They sent the screenshots this afternoon.
So I saw the email that Vinny had sent, or I'm sorry, not Vinny, but Tanya from Actionair. I saw that email, and I know that had the duct cleaning. It had the signed letter from Vinny. It had some other stuff, but if there was an email with the screenshots, I missed it. If that came today, I didn't see it. So
yeah, it was a separate email from that one.
It's what did it come after that? Because I know that came around 5 o'clock, or was it after that?
Yeah, it did. It came after.
I haven't looked at email since 5, so it's still in my inbox. I'll be sure to look at that first thing in the morning, and we'll check it out then. Like I said, I just got it a couple hours ago, and the fact that we got it is great. we will go through and verify that and look at it tomorrow. Michaela's going to be on site, and IES will be on site tomorrow. So I'll confirm that early, and we'll validate it on site. Anyone have any questions on ventilation for Johnson?
That sounds good, Rick. Sounds like you're getting the information you need it.
We are, yes, we are. I mean, the contractors on site have been helpful, providing us the associated information. Same with Rizzo and their group, as far as, you know, assisting to get us, you know, anything we needed. We understand time is, you know, certainly of the essence. So,
what about coordinating with Chris Baldwin?
I'm actually here. I'm on.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
So how are you satisfied with the documentation?
Yes, I'm very happy with the information Rick is sending over to me. I've been monitoring it. We're making a lot of headway, and I'm getting the information I need for code compliance for these air changes and exhaust and all of that.
Good.
Excellent. So Chris, our documentation that we're providing for Rockwell, that report that was issued, it's going to be very typical to that report. You know, it'll be standard, and like I said, we have to go back and you know, there may be some other information such as exhaust fans, you know, depending upon our timeline tomorrow, what we're able to look at. You know, there may be some other documentation just from assistance on Rizzo's end to just ensure you know, the exhaust fans in general are locked in hand in the unoccupied mode. And again, it may be a letter or something else that we need just to ensure that the building in those areas remains in the negative condition. Which again, you know, if we need that, we'll certainly reach out to Rizzo and Actionair on small items like that. But again, it'll be a typical format for Rockwell.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate all the hard work you guys have been doing and trying to get this done, getting the information to me. It's very helpful. Thank you.
No, excellent. And again, anything that you need, Chris, feel free to reach out to, you know, feel free to call my cell at any time for any questions.
Will do. Thank you.
So can we get into doing the report from Ken for Rockwell?
Okay, for Rockwell, the Eversource was there today, and they disconnected the temporary transformer for the portables. And most everything else we've completed on this page from last meeting. So for the work in progress, we started the bollards, and we were doing the grinding of the terrazzo at night. And there's some flooring. They're there today, finishing up the lobby and doing some base and odds and ends as far as flooring goes to finish the school for that. And I think we talked about the kitchens. So there's really just, we have to just make sure that we're cleaned up and out of the way for the Thursday drive-throughs, Thursday and Friday afternoon. So there may be some work going on in the front, but we've notified everybody of what's going on. So we'll monitor that when it comes closer to 10 o'clock on Thursday morning.
Ken, yes. I know I sent you and Jim an email. Are we going to clean up some of the site before that?
Yes. Yep. We're gonna make sure that everything's as clean as a whistle.
So right. I would like to get. I don't know if Bob's on, but I would like to get some like weed whacking and stuff done. So ideally, I guess tomorrow's Wednesday, isn't it, Bob? Well, anyways, yeah, that'd be great. The site definitely, the debris needs to get picked up.
Yes.
I agree with you, Dr. Carver.
Yeah,
It's a mess.
it is. And I don't want families to drive through and see the mess, but I also need some time to be able to get Eileen or get Fairfield Landscaping out to just try to do some more, a little bit more cleanup. Bob, are you on? I thought he was.
Yes, I am, Dr. Carver.
Okay. Yeah, so we would need some time, right, Bob?
If we're going to use Fairfield, I'm going to have to notify them tonight. They won't be able to just stop, drop, and come over if
Right.
I don't at least give them some heads up.
So is it something that could be done tomorrow morning?
I'll certainly ask them.
No, I'm talking about Jim and Ken. Get the debris out.
There's decking in the way that we're getting cut because the country.
But are we cutting that decking tomorrow morning?
Not tomorrow morning. I think.
Why not?
I don't think you could get someone to cut it.
What else is in the way?
And
I
I'm
think
not.
we have a lot of other stuff in the way.
Yeah.
Let's do this, Bob. If we could, if you could make that call, we'll do what we have to even if we have to drag that stuff out of the way, so that you can cut your material there. I'll take a look at it tonight if it's not too dark when we get out of here.
And Jim, there's just a lot of debris all over the place, like around the park. I think Johnson is much worse than Rockwell. I mean, the other way. I think Rockwell's got a lot more debris than Johnson. Okay. Just like things like cinder blocks, pipes that were cut, like it's just all over the place, especially in the front part.
That's stuff we can police in the morning. So I'll take a look at that as well.
Okay.
So Jim and Ken, if there's any way that we're able to get Fairfield County there, say 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, does that give you guys enough time to?
I think that's reasonable. Yes.
Terry, I can't pull them in the middle of the day. They'll be on other areas. I'll have to tell them early in the morning.
Or Bob, could even early Thursday morning, because it's not that much to cut down at this point. I mean, and the parents don't start pulling through 10. So
no, that Thursday morning's even better. Then we could, that'll give Joe from Fairfield a chance to mobilize the crew because they have all contract work.
Right. And did they pave Rockwell today so that we can drive on that on Thursday?
They did not pave it, so they'll pave it tomorrow, but you'll be able to drive on it.
Okay.
Oops.
Does that include the rear bus loop too? Will that be done before school opens?
It won't be open for school, but it'll probably be paved.
Yeah, we know we don't have that until hopefully the end of the month. My goal is the 29th.
And you said that the transformer was disconnected. Did it also get taken out of there?
I didn't get a chance to check on that to see if it was removed. They were there most of the day.
Is the transformer that thing in the hall that used to be the electrical panel?
No. It's that big box out there. You know that big doghouse out there? And then there's another large green structure.
And that thing that's in the hall, when is that going away? Bob, you know what I'm talking about, right?
There's a temporary panel in Rockwell hallway. It's Ferguson's temporary panel. It's
for the Terrazzo guys.
Oh, so when they're done, Ken, it's going to go away?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's there just for the Terrazzo guys?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the roof blocking and edging, that's still shown at 70%. When is that going to get completed?
Probably they'll have all of the wood blocking completed by the end of this week. They're up there working on expansion joint at the platform and gym today. So I would say that probably closer to 90% rather than 70%. So they're pretty close right now.
Is there any way you could put one more column on your completion list and have it when it's going to be completed? So at least we could get a timeline on some of this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be really helpful to have some sort of projection scheduled date.
Just on everything. We seem to continue on a moving target, and I'd like to set a target.
Okay.
And so the Roy was asking about the roof and the wood blocking. You were talking about the edging, et cetera. What about all that ductwork up there? Did that get reset and completed?
That's also, Rick can speak to that as well. I know he issued a report on it today. We've got the repairs are done. What we're still, so the ductwork itself has been restored. What we're working on now is the scheme for repairing the duct supports themselves. And we'll probably get into that in detail next week.
That's Jim, that's on the design as far as what's going to be acceptable for the roof manufacturer?
Everybody's got a hand in that one, yes.
Right, okay. And I'm assuming, Joe, you're also involved with that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat what it was?
I'm assuming, Joe, you're also involved with the design as far as the supports of the ductwork?
Yeah, DTC would be.
Okay, okay, good.
So they're going out on site tomorrow, so they'll be looking at that stuff.
Okay, good. Again, I'm going to ask the same question as far as trying to get a completion date on that also. Every item I'd really like to see a date attached to it.
Okay.
So then, do we want to get input from Rick Bilecki on commissioning for Rockwell right now?
That'd be great.
Okay.
So since we just talked about the duct on the roof at Rockwell, we did look at all of the associated duct work based on all the repairs that were done by the contractor. We looked at the installation of the new duct work based on SMACNA requirements, and we did find that the installation of the new duct looked good. We also found that the repairs that they did based on sanding down the existing duct, resealing it, also looked good. The concerns that we did have are related to the duct hangers. The ductwork hangers themselves need to be further evaluated, fixed, replaced, or remediation on the hangers themselves. So the concern is we don't want the ductwork to be insulated prior to the hangers being fixed, because if the duct is insulated now without the new hangers being installed, what's going to happen is if the ductwork shifts and anything cracks, we're not going to see it. So I understand DTC is going to be on site tomorrow. We actually had some brief correspondence today via email, and we're going to be on site tomorrow as well to review that with them. A couple of the other concerns we had was on the rubber flex duct off of the exhaust fans and the associated DOAS units. They did have some wear and some very, very light cracking, some wear and tear that we want further evaluated prior to that being insulated to make sure it's in like new condition. And then also the exterior sheathing wrap around the first DOAS unit. Between that and the exterior insulation, certain areas were damp inside between the ductwork and the exterior. That is being further evaluated as well. But the duct repairs in general are okay. But again, the main thing is really the hangers themselves and fixing those hangers prior to re-insulating. So progress has certainly been made, but there's just a few things that have to be evaluated and further vetted out on that.
Hey, Rick, this is David Horvath. How you doing?
Dave, how are you?
Good, man. Hey, quick question. For the Rockwell ductwork, there was hundreds of, maybe if not thousands of little tech screws holding in all that sheet metal that wrapped around the ductwork. Has that been addressed?
You're absolutely correct, Dave. That's so based on all those small tech screws, that was actually on the last comment that I just mentioned. Based on the exterior sheathing of the sheet metal, between that and the insulation of the ductwork is retaining water. It has to be further evaluated. So that's an item that is still open. That entire duct system from that entire unit remains an open item. What we did today was we met with John from Action Air on site, and we actually asked for an entire section. Rizzo was on the roof as well. We asked for an entire section of the exterior duct wrap to be removed, to include all of those tech screws, so we could really understand what does that insulation look like, and you know, how is water getting into this, and do we actually need to address the entire system? So that all of that is still an open item, Dave.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions on the duct roof before I jump into the ventilation?
And it is the same detail on Johnson with the insulation, so we want to make sure we have these answers before we go and start and install that insulation over there as well.
Agreed. Yeah, because one of the other things I will recommend on that is, you know, if we do look good, you know, another thing, Dave, we can look at is, you know, on the bottom of that, I'd want to install probably 2 or 3 weatherproof access doors, so we can kind of cut into that. We can install the access doors. We can kind of get in there with a small scope, make sure everything looks good, especially so we have it for future access. We do one on the supply, one on the return, on a long length of duct, just to make sure everything looks good, just kind of as a second observation as well.
Great idea. Thank you.
So on the ventilation, again, we still have some work to do on the ventilation for this school. But what we do have to date is we do have a test and balance report with the dedicated outdoor air units, the associated rooftop units, bathroom exhaust fans, and fan coil units. We did have a partial report before. Again, we just received the latest report to the school 3 hours ago or so, so we are still in process of reviewing this. But what we have accomplished yesterday and today on Rockwell is the following. We set all the DOAS units in hand, typical to what was done on Johnson. When we set those in hand, we went through and spot checked airflows on the VAV side, which the VAV side is what's providing the fresh air to the classroom and represented spaces such as admin, nurse, and so on. We took spot check, in those represented areas, we took spot check readings to make sure we're getting the max CFM per design. Based on all the areas we checked, again, we probably spot checked 10% of the spaces. And out of the 10% of the spaces that we spot checked, the readings all were within, I'd say 10, maybe 12% of the original max reading. So we are in line on what was spot checked on the DOAS units. We also spot checked the fan coil units. We spot checked the fan coil units to make sure they were all in high speed, and we were seeing the same high speed CFM from the balance report. A couple of the things that we did notice is probably 3, 4, 5, 6 or so. I'm not sure the exact number. Fan coil units do have boards, control boards that have to be replaced. Those are on order. So basically what that means is those fan coils at the time were not operational. But the fix for that is the wire associated with the control panel. It was discussed with the balancer and the controls contractor that those fans will just be manually wired to high speed, which is absolutely fine. They're just going to be wired to high speed to override the manual switching of the motor through the board. So I understand they're going to be working on that perhaps tomorrow, finalizing that to ensure all of those fan coil units are also running per design criteria. On the bathroom exhaust, I understand there are no issues on bathroom exhaust at Rockwell, but again, that report I received 3 hours ago and I haven't looked at it. But conversations with the balancer indicate there are no issues. Actually, I take that back. The one item with exhaust fans that they are still working on is, don't quote me on this number, but I believe it's exhaust fan 2. I want to say it's exhaust fan 2. There was a relay that had to be replaced. So they were working on getting that relay. If they get the relay in time, great. If not, it'll be a typical scenario to the fan coil units where they have to bypass that and just run the fan at full speed, which is what we were going to do anyway. So again, I don't see that being a showstopper. Again, we have all the readings for today, but really what I need to do is take those readings and confirm it with the updated balancing report, because again, I was only able to spot check maybe, I'd say probably 5 or 6 rooms based on the readings we took today based on the latest balancing report. The balancer had the latest report. I just didn't have a printed copy in front of me because that just came, like I said, a couple hours ago. So those readings I will be confirming. But again, everything seems to be in line. The plan for tomorrow is we're going to look at exhaust fans to make sure all of those are running full speed in hand. We're also, throughout the morning tomorrow, we're going to work with ESC, the controls contractor, to validate everything that we did today as far as manually switching that in hand, that all of that, in fact, did stay in hand, and it's locked in hand, and that there's no overrides taking over, that the CO2 sensors are all overridden. There's nothing modulating. So we're really going to be going through the control system tomorrow, basically ensuring everything is locked. And then at that point, ESC will be providing the same exact snapshots that they provided for Johnson, as Ken said, that they had sent over a couple hours ago, really just as printed documentation that it's kind of all hands off the control system at this point, you know, because the guys still are working. They're still fine tuning the system. So when they're done, it's kind of all hands off. And this is the final method or way that we left it in hand mode. So, you know, here's the backup documentation to prove that. And then that'll go hand in hand with our report. So still a little bit to do on Rockwell, but overall it's coming along this week. Any questions, comments on Rockwell ventilation?
No, it sounds like you guys covered a lot of ground.
It's getting there. It's certainly getting there. There was a lot of work to do in the last 2 days, but you know, there really was a substantial amount of guys from ESC on site that, you know, in general, we're making this happen, and we did have the support of the test and balancer and the folks from Actioner as well. So we were able to make, you know, overall pretty decent progress based on the time frame. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, so then do we need to get an update or report from either Chris Baldwin or Tom Galliford, who I see are both on the call?
So my comments are, I'll just keep working with Rick with the reports to make sure we get the code compliance for the ventilation, exhaust air, and all of that. We're still going through fine tuning some above ceiling inspection work. We were in the kitchens today, Tom and I, verifying code compliance with well, electrical and the overhead duct work and hoods and all of that. Tom and I are working on a list. I'm sure Tom could talk after me, but we're working on a list of different action items, those that are related to the TCO and those items that will need to come after the TCO. I don't know if you have any specific questions.
Hi, Chris. This is Rick at IES. I just had one question on my report.
Sure.
I know you guys, I understood we're trying to wrap up a TCO review by tomorrow. But in all reality, with us being on site tomorrow, if we get a submission of our report by, call it mid-Thursday afternoon, is that okay?
Rick, you just do the best you can. I mean, I'll make my final decision based on, you know, what Tom and I feel comfortable with, but just keep feeding us the information and we'll just do the best we can moving forward.
So we'll have an email out to you by day's end with any major issues or
Okay.
if we do notice anything, but the official report I'll send by Thursday afternoon.
Thursday. Okay. Okay.
Hi, it's Tom Galliford here. Yeah, just to echo what Chris said. So life safety wise, as far as fire alarms, sprinklers, pretty much all that testing is done. We just made a couple adjustments and just verified a couple other things. I think Thursday is when we're going to put the sprinkler systems on live along with the alarm system. So that'll be all on and active as of Thursday. We just want to give them a couple extra days to finish up some areas. I think at Johnson, they just have the dry sprinklers to connect. Actually, the furnace area room they have to do still, but they finished some testing there. So we should be in good shape. Life safety wise, like Chris said, a couple minor things. Some fire doors that just need adjustment for latching, hitting on the floors in a couple spots at Johnson particularly. But other than that, as far as life safety, we're in really good shape. So I feel good about that.
And the only thing I wanted to add too is just don't forget about the window limiters on the second floors. I went through and I noticed some of the window limiters weren't in quite yet. We want to do that. And then tomorrow, when Joe's out there on the roofs, I want to kind of go over the gas lines with them because there seems to be a slight deviation in what's on the plans and so forth. And I think we could probably do a little better job in securing those gas lines on the roof, more stanchions and supports.
Hey, Tom, this is Bob G. Did you say you're wanting the panels to be live, the fire panel to be live Thursday?
Yeah, either at least by Thursday or Friday. I talked to Jim just before the weekend, so he felt that a lot of the dust and debris would be done by then. I'm just not sure about Johnson with the floor work they're doing over there when that's going to be done with the grinding.
No, the reason why I asked is because I don't know, did they have the connection for the alarm company? Who's monitoring it?
Yeah, that should be all set.
Yeah, that's up and on. That's on now because we have it on test every day, and after 4, it is back because we verified it. We did have an alarm there one day. I got a call from dispatch when they were still working on it. So yeah, those cellular devices are working and it's monitored.
All right, I'll be ready.
Okay.
So are there any things that either from Rick, Bielecki, or Tom or Chris that you're seeing in general that can keep us from getting the TCO as needed?
The $1 million question. It looks like possibly by Thursday, if everything goes smoothly and we get what we need done, possibly. They've made a lot of progress this week. And we're hoping that we can reach that. I don't know. What do you think, Tom? Are you thinking the same thing?
Oh yeah, no. I think there's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing glaring, right? There's nothing.
Yeah.
Really, like that's $1 million fix that we have to worry about. So it's just some of these minor details, like with the fire doors, and we're just trying to finish up some of the above ceiling inspections where we had a few issues, and it's just getting hard to get in there because they're setting up classrooms. But we knocked a lot of that out today. So yeah, I think if you once you are all set with all the balancing reports and all the information from Rick on that end, I think that's the only big issue out there. So I think by right where they're on Friday. So I think by Friday we'll be able to, before the end of the day Friday, I think we'll be able to get the paperwork done, and you'll get everyone will be good for next Tuesday.
Rick, does that seem reasonable to you? I just wanted to touch base with you too, Rick.
I think as long as we keep up the same, as long as we stay on the same track on site, and provided the conversations that were had as far as everything corresponding on the associated testing and balancing report, as we discussed, and all the controls being locked and that documentation provided, I don't see any big glaring issues. I mean, everything seems to be falling into place at this particular time. We are receiving all the info needed from the contractors based on the spot checking that we are doing on the ventilation system. Again, all the way down at the end of the line and closest to the DOAS is the best place to do it to make sure we don't too much or too little. Everything is falling in line based on the original test and balance report. Everything is corresponding and reading on the control system. It's really just the final things right now, you know, and provided everything else falls into place, you know, I'm hoping Thursday we'll be able to have our final review over to Chris and the rest of the team.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Rick, and I appreciate the hard work on this project too.
Thank you.
So are we also, is Laura from the health department getting everything she needs as far as her checks and reports and such? And are we needing any okays from planning and zoning from Beth Gavagna from land use?
We're meeting with Beth on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, her office, whoever comes out.
Nancy, I have a couple of questions for Jim and Ken on that. So,
sure.
Did we get clearance on the water being potable?
We're waiting on the results from Johnson. I believe the results for Rockwell are in. I believe the results for Johnson come in on Thursday.
Okay, was Rockwell clear?
It's Ferguson, so we're just waiting to get the documentation from them. We haven't heard that there was any issue.
Okay, because we're making sure that we have bottled water for staff this week. So as soon as you could let us know that the water can.
Yep, Ken will chase that in the morning.
Yep.
Okay, that would be helpful. And the other thing is, I know it sounds small, but it ended up giving us all a lot of agita last September. And that is in the separations between the construction area and the occupied space. I know Dr. Carver raised the issue that the separation seemed good at Johnson, needed a little work still at Rockwell. And we want to make sure that in addition to the walls and the doors, that we also hang some plastic. We don't want any issues this year with dust traveling between the occupied and the construction zones. Because we don't want to revisit that.
Sure. And we have some more steps to take at Rockwell to get to that. So we'll be doing that between the next 2 days.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I have a question for Ken and Jim. A question regarding securing the building on Rockwell and the exterior doors around the back by the boiler room and entryway. And I was wondering, I'm concerned with the kids starting to get around, walking around the building and what have you. Those are still plywood doors. Is there any way we could try to get their permanent doors installed on any of the exterior, you know, anything that's left? So at least there's a formal door on them.
Yeah, that's not unreasonable. It's what we should be doing. I know there's a door at the cafeteria that we need to get on, and I'll take a look at them back at the boiler room. I'll take a look at that one. There's no reason we can't get that door up.
That's what I was hoping. I'm really concerned about security.
Sure.
And I also had a question.
A valid point.
I had a question for Joe on Johnson School on the media center entry. I noticed that there's two drain pipes that come down one of the supporting columns for the vestibule or the canopy over that area.
Yes.
And I was wondering whether those were going to be covered or.
Yeah. So the verticals will be covered by GFRC column enclosure, and then we're going to be issuing a sketch to cover the horizontal coming out of the.
Okay, and then I'm also concerned though that the water is dropping onto the concrete area there. I'm concerned about an icing problem.
Okay.
It's hooked into the ground. There's a pipe down underground, Roy.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't walk. Now, the way it's hooked up now, I'm just blowing up a picture. It just comes off with a 22 bend at the end.
It might have been before, yeah.
I didn't walk up close to it, okay? So it's just a picture from the outside there.
Okay.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that they're going to be covered. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Getting back to Johnson School, again with the security, what's the status of the large door between the stage and the outside amphitheater? Has that been installed yet, or is that still open?
It has not been installed. It's on site, so we're scheduling it with Massey to get that installed. We just had to have them wrap up a lot of things.
Okay.
For this week, so it is on the schedule for the next week.
Yeah, I'd appreciate anything you can do to secure the buildings. You know, just in general, I'd really like to see all the permanent doors put on. So.
Sure. Okay.
And the other question I have in general, you know, this coming weekend obviously is a holiday weekend. Do you anticipate having crews working at least Saturday and possibly Sunday to get things really wrapped up?
Yeah, I think we will.
Okay.
So, and will that be necessary? Are there certain things that you're going to need to have them doing Saturday and Sunday and possibly even Monday to make sure that we are totally 100% good to go for Tuesday school opening?
Yeah, you know, right now we're set up for Saturday. I think that's all that we'll need, but obviously it's something we'll keep an eye on over the next couple of days to make sure that we get everything done that needs to be done for Tuesday.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim, this is Bob G. Just remember, I have no one working this weekend, so I can't come behind you and clean up. So whoever works needs to pick up whatever they bring in.
Good to know, and we'll make sure we make a note and we have cleaners to be the last people in the building.
Nancy?
Yeah.
Is Dr. Carver still with us?
I think so.
Dr. Carver? Maybe not. Terry?
I'm here. Go ahead.
We have staff in the building now, right? In the buildings now.
We do. We do. All the teachers, and we have paras and building subs. We have a lot of staff in the building this week.
Any feedback from them?
Well, at Johnson, a few of them got lost. They said, gee, it got so big and I don't know which way to go. You know, there was excitement, of course, a little confusion because there were so many boxes and we had moved things, with the phasing, we had moved things several times. But I spoke to the principal just this afternoon and she said, you know, everyone has been finding their belongings and a lot of the, Bob shared with me, a lot of the boxes are gone, you know, that we've been able to cart away the boxes and the excitement is building. So I think that's, you know, it other than the construction, remember there is the COVID layer. So people are returning to work with a few layers of anticipation and maybe a little anxiety. And I think this afternoon they could see everybody sort of taking a little breath and their rooms starting to really look like classrooms and enjoying how nice the classrooms look. So the excitement is building.
Good. Okay.
That's good news.
That's great news. And also, you know, Dr. Carver was mentioning cleaning up the site earlier. And the site is apparently ready for both bus and parent drop off, et cetera, or getting to be at that point.
It's getting to be, yes.
And it will be there for Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any other concerns or questions about the opening Tuesday and anything that they've seen or had questions about getting that done?
Hey, Nancy, I share the same concerns, you know, and I was only through on Saturday over the weekend, but just in general, I think we really have to try to get the site, both sites, really cleaned up, you know, nice. So they look pristine. And mean, that's the first impression that you have. And, you know, at this point, or on Saturday, it surely wasn't a good first impression.
The one thing I would like to share with all the committee members, you know, things are a little different this year at every school system. Due to COVID, there won't be any visitors in the building, not even parents. Meetings with parents will mainly be virtual. There will be just some exceptions. So once school does open on Tuesday, we all need to adhere to that and really let them know when we're coming. You know that you're all welcome, but we do have to make sure that you let Bob know if you want to get up and see the building. I would like it if Rizzo let their people know that there aren't visitors, there aren't supposed to be people walking in to the construction area to take a look. Between regular school security and we're cohorting kids and limiting exposure to other people. I mean, even if I go to a building, I'm really not going to be interacting with a lot of people because the whole idea is the more social distancing, the better shot we have at a longer school year where we're in school. So just to share all of that, it's at a lot of levels this year with being very cautious about visitors to the building. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Terry. And I think, we'll do what we can do to respect that. If we want to take a look at things, maybe we could make some kind of arrangements to do it after hours or do it on a time when, especially when they're not kids in school. We know that Bethel and Dr. Carver have been cited as, the way to go with reopening school. And we'd like to keep it that way while school's running. Which brings up a question for Rizzo. With ongoing construction, are you starting Tuesday, September 8th, going to have construction crews in both buildings?
Yes, we'll be in the cafeteria, gym at both schools, and a few of the other spaces.
And as was mentioned earlier, you have some separations that you've created to make sure that we don't have kids in the wrong place, construction workers in the wrong place, etc.
Correct.
Okay, thanks. And I, again, have to apologize for the noise my computer makes. I can't help it. When the fan runs, it runs. So are there any other questions specifically about Johnson or Rockwell with construction, with the commissioning, with TCO? Because I think Geraldine was going to give us Ffa and Tech update if needed.
Nancy?
Yep.
It's Rich.
Yeah.
I got on late because I had a Board of Selectmen's meeting. Was there any discussion about Johnson School on the slope that John Menti mentioned by the ball field? Any resolutions on that? And did either Geraldine or Jim get a price from Earth Movers on that alternate?
That's not something that we were planning to discuss tonight. So I don't know as that information has been put together. And I'm not sure if it's anything we need as far as getting school started or getting the TCO.
No, you're absolutely right. It's nothing we need for getting school started. But I've been asking for this information for weeks.
Right. And we did not put it on the agenda for tonight. So I wasn't expecting anyone to have that information tonight. So can we have that for next week? And we get whoever needs to be putting that info together, have that for our regular meeting on September 8th?
Yeah, Nancy, Milana McBroom was out at the site yesterday, did a site walkthrough. So they looked at that slope by the softball field. So they'll be preparing some sketches and maybe a narrative as to options of what you could do there.
Okay, thanks. And Rich, is there anything else you want to ask of anybody who's on right now to make sure we have that information for next?
Yes, I would like a quote, a requote on that alternate on the ball field, on the soccer field. Alternate 8, I think it was. That they said is no longer good.
Ken is pursuing that with earth movers. I think, you know,
Okay.
we'll try and make sure that they see if we can get it for next Tuesday. I'm sure that there are, again, maybe some other priorities that they're trying to finish up before school starts, but we have requested it and it's in the works.
Okay. Because if that is approved, it has to go back to planning and zoning. So there'll be another delay through planning and zoning to get that approved. So that's why I'm trying to move this forward. Thank you.
Okay, so Geraldine, do you have an FF&E and tech update?
I think we covered all the technology issues earlier, and on furniture, I can just report that all of the furniture that was scheduled to be delivered before school starts is on site. The furniture vendors are there, were there today, they'll be there tomorrow and probably Thursday as well, putting the furniture in the proper places. I know there's already been some, I understand, some trading of furniture between teachers, so we're trying to keep track of where all the new furniture ended up. To make sure that we can account for all of it. But furniture's all on site. And in fact, some of the pieces that we had thought were not going to be delivered until mid-September are also on site. So we're trying to, make sure that they're in the proper storage areas. The movers will be back tomorrow helping to move anything that the teachers need or, anything that the furniture installers need help with. And I think that's it. They're all working in concert with the teachers setting up the rooms, and it seems to be coordinated and going well. No complaints that I know of. So we're proceeding, through setting up the school for the end of the week.
Okay, thanks. Anything else that anybody has, either with questions or comments on getting everything done so we're ready to open next week? I want to say thanks to everyone who's been putting in extra time, Rizzo team, Perkins Eastman, Rick Bilecki and IES, our town building officials, and all public site members who have had some good input as far as how to solve some problems, etc. Geraldine and her team for keeping on top of everything. Board of Ed people for sweating it out like they knew they were going to have to, because the same thing happened last year. But we're getting there. I mean, it sounds like we're not just getting there, we're going to be there. And there's a great confidence, it sounds like, from everyone that we're going to be there.
And Nancy, I have to say, if other than setting up a cot for Bob Germanero at the site, he's been amazing and a truly dedicated member of our administrative team.
Bob, I think it was good that you went on vacation when you did and got a little rest, because you probably haven't slept or been at home since then.
It's been difficult, but thank you. I appreciate those kind words, Terry.
Well, Bob, I don't know what we'd do without you. I don't know, that you've got lots of different talents, and all of them get called on a regular basis, day to day, and problems get solved. And so thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Nance?
Yep.
Just one thing. I've been in contact with Weston and Sampson, Malcolm Beal, for the PCB issue at Rockwell. And because Bob Germanero has nothing better to do, he's going to meet, myself and Bob is going to meet with Malcolm Beal on Thursday morning at 9:30. If any other commission members would like to attend, that's fine.
Yeah, well, let's keep the traffic through. I mean, if somebody really has a...
Right. I'm just throwing it out there.
Right, but let's try to keep things kind of quiet. But I appreciate your getting that done, John, because that's another step that we need to take. And it's, in a way, a part of getting school back open. getting things in place that need to be done. So thanks for taking care of that. Anything else anybody has? Next Tuesday is our first regular meeting for September. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about and a lot to do because there will be, not being a special meeting, invoices, et cetera, to deal with. And a lot of updates. Anything else? Going once, going twice. John,
Make a motion to adjourn.
John Menti, make a motion to adjourn. I need a second on that.
He's happy.
Yeah, everybody have a good week. And so did I get a second? Dave Olson usually seconds. So we'll say
second.
Dave and Dave seconded. All in favor? Aye. Everybody have a good week. Let us know if you need anything. And hope you have a restful Labor Day weekend, because Tuesday's going to be a busy day for a whole lot of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Kathy, there's nothing you need me for to sign or anything like that. So
You're good.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.